And AOC is right for the job.
Is she, though? Let's talk about it, y'all.
Middle America.
And you ain't black.
I don't know what I said.
The first time ever any...
What are you people?
We're Americans. We are Americans indeed. My name is Vincent.
And I am Soraya.
And this is Middle America with Vin and Sori, where we are not left wing.
We're not right wing.
We're just right. All right, dear listener.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show, as they say. Now listen. First of all, Middle America is not some echo chamber, okay? You losers, okay? Seeing as how Jenk likes to call everybody losers. We are not an echo chamber, so if you ever disagree with any of the major points, call in and check us out. Look, we do have a free speech environment. We have a Facebook page, facebook.com/America Middle. Mm-hmm. If you're interested in joining or continuing the conversation, you can check us out there if you so fancy. Shout out to the big homie Adar. Salam lech.
Prepare yourself. It is a free speech environment.
It is a free speech environment.
Not a lot of stuff can get you blocked over there, so prepare yourself before you enter.
And Adar can testify. I mean, I'm the owner of the thing, and I've been attacked mercilessly. I had to take a.
I was gonna say you even took a break.
I had to take a mental health break, there, listener. I wanted to be friends with white people after 2020. So I had to take a break. But yes, dear listener, it is what it is. All right, now.
Shout out to the white people.
Shout out to the white people. Okay, we're going to get right into this. So apparently AOC, look, the Democratic Party at this point is in, I don't want to say in a free fall, but I do think they're in a situation where they need to recalibrate and think about the future.
Yep.
This is kind of you're not in a very good situation if you're on the Democratic side, because there doesn't seem to be any alpha male or alpha female. And I don't think the Democrats, luckily for them, the Democrats don't need another Trump. Mm-hmm. Everybody keeps saying we need another Trump, you need another Joe Rogan. I don't think so. You only need another Trump if Trump can run.
Right. No, that's true.
That's like saying that the Republicans need an Obama. That's what people were saying. We need an Obama. Well, you only need an Obama if Obama can run again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so I don't believe necessarily that the Democrat Party needs another Trump. But what they do need is an actual leader and an actual brand that they can actually sell to people so that they know what the heck they're getting when they're voting. Mm-hmm. And I have been, now Adar is gonna be here. Look.
I think they need to take accountability too.
For all her capitulation to the establishment, she gets a slap in the face. Maybe she should have kept fighting them instead of playing nice. I was just gonna say, all my left-wing friends, not a single one of them have any time for AOC. Oh. I believe that AOC is still salvageable. Okay? I believe that AOC, and one of the reasons that I know, not just that I believe, one of the reasons that I know that AOC is still salvageable is because of what just happened to her, and which we're going to see in a second.
Okay, fill us in.
If AOC was a complete and total and ultimate sellout, then the story we're covering doesn't really make any sense.
Okay.
So we're going to get into that right now. Most people disagree with me on this. You know, your Adars, your Marcuses, everybody disagrees with me. Your Applejacks, they all disagree with me about AOC. They want me to kick her out of the club or whatever. Mm-hmm. Okay, listen, I wrote a song about AOC. You don't remember that?
That's true, yeah.
What did I say in that song? If you ain't meant for all, then how the fuck is you so? Oh yeah, AOC, if you left, how the fuck is you so right? You out for progress, but the progress is slow, right? Gotta catch you at the Met Gala. No self-awareness, like, why are we upset at her? Yeah, I got receipts, but I don't need to get that. At Cozy with Pelosi, get your votes, but you getting at her. See? There you go. So, I already wrote a song about Shorty. So, you can't say that I'm an AOC stan. Okay? You can't say I'm an AOC stan. But, and look, I think the country is better when there's real opposition. I'm not going to say the country is better when there's a third party or whatever. But I do think that the country is in a better situation when we've got some serious opposition. Trump at this point has no opposition. He's got the House, he's got the Senate, and so it's a bad situation for the Democrats. So I think the Democrats need to start thinking a little bit outside of their box if they're going to be successful. If you're not going to be successful and you're just going to lose all the time, then I guess you can do what you want to do with that. But I don't think that it's in the best interest of the Democratic Party to continue to do the nonsense that they've been doing. But what do I know? All right, so here we go. We got Kyle Kulinski. Kyle Kulinski is going to help us understand what's going on here because Kyle is obviously a bastion of objectivity and things of that nature. Here we go.
Oh, great.
Oh, we got to see. All right, Kyle. Let's see what you got, buddy. What do you have to say,
all right,
Mr.
y'all, so let's
Kulinski?
talk about this thing that just went down with AOC. She wanted to be the head of the Oversight Committee, and she put that out there. And reporting is that Nancy Pelosi, literally from a hospital bed after getting a hip replacement after a fall she had, she organized the defeat of AOC and got her...
Yo, that is so crazy to me. That, first of all, that Kyle is saying it like that with no pity whatsoever in his heart for poor old Nancy Pelosi. Where's the respect, Kyle? Where's the respect for Mama Nancy? Isn't that what what's her face called her? Didn't she call her Mama Nancy or some shit?
All right, y'all. So let's talk about this thing that just went
I
down
think
with
you're
AOC.
right.
She wanted to be
AOC.
Yeah.
AOC originally. AOC was supposed to be an original gangster, and then y'all saw what happened. You guys saw what happened with poor old AOC and Mama Pelosi. You know, when AOC first came out, she was like, she literally staged a protest in front of Nancy Pelosi's office.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like she came, like she was like, I'm going to war. I don't care if I don't get elected again. I'm going to war.
And then Bernie, is that what happened? Bernie.
Well, no, I mean, I wouldn't hold Bernie responsible for that, but Bernie certainly didn't get her back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She was
Well,
kind of
what
like,
happened, you think?
well, she was kind of floating out there by herself, and then
Yep.
Pelosi, who's extremely powerful and extremely competent and knows how to operate with power and competence. I mean, it's pretty much been her party and Barack Obama's party. She's on the money side, Obama's on the influence side, and those two together truly believe that they should be able to shape the country almost single-handedly. And so, like, that's why you're in a situation now where you are, where the party is completely, I don't want to say it's in shambles because everybody's using all this crazy
Extreme
language,
yeah.
but they're not in a good situation either. They're not in a situation that they would want to be. What's up, Hoyle? They're not in the situation that they would want to be. This is not an optimal situation for the left. Matthew Hoyle says Bernie made the mistake of going on Joe Rogan.
Mistake?
I think that Hoyle is being sarcastic.
Oh.
Because you brought up Bernie in relation to AOC. I'm pretty sure that AOC was one of those people that were saying we don't need to team up with people like Joe Rogan. When Joe Rogan gave an endorsement to Bernie, he said, I'm going to vote for Bernie. AOC was one of the people that was rebuking Bernie for...
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm sure now she sees the error of her ways.
Man. Yeah.
I'm sure now that she sees the error of her ways, but it's, as the man said, too late to apologize, dear listener. It's too late.
Far too late.
And so I think, like, if you are in the left wing, or you're the, whatever you want to call it, okay, the left party, the party of the people, the Democratic Socialists, fill in the blank all you want. If you're in that group, then you got to sit back and think strategically, and your answers cannot be, this is the way we've always done it, or this is the way that it's done. I think what Trump has just demonstrated is that it doesn't really matter what your silly rules are, because everything is different now. So, like, normally, if you've got a street team that's hitting all the doors and all that, you're supposed to have a considerable advantage. That got evaporated because Trump went on Joe Rogan. Everybody was laughing at him. They were laughing at him. And I just remember being like, these people are dumb as hell. What do you think is going to happen? Joe Rogan is massively influential. Mm-hmm. When I first saw Bernie on talking to Killer Mike in the barbershop, I was like, oh, okay, I'm with this guy. He sounds like he knows what's up. When I saw Bernie at Joe Rogan, I was like, okay, this can actually work. Because people are always like, how are you going to finance it, blah, blah, blah. And then Bernie, the way he talked about his plan, it was so nonchalant. It was so like, look, we're going to have Medicaid. We'll just extend it to young people. we can tax Wall Street speculation. That's 1%. It won't cost regular people anything. It'll just hurt the billionaires. And I was like, okay, this is it. This is the way.
Yeah.
And I was with it. And then the Democrated the situation and ruined it, as they always do. So, I mean, look, we're going to hear Kyle Kulinski talk about it. AOC is questionable because not everyone wants an activist. Yeah, but she started out definitely as an activist, but she did not remain an activist for very long. And I don't hold. See, this is where this is where I lose a lot of people. I do not hold AOC responsible as a barely 30-year-old to go into that. I mean, these are the most powerful. I don't think people understand. These are the most powerful people on the face of the earth. Nancy Pelosi is literally probably top 3 of women in power ever. Ever. Queen of Sheba, literally.
Wow.
So she's an extremely powerful woman. So to expect a 30-year-old AOC to go up and square up against Nancy Pelosi and Barack Hussein Obama by herself, I just think it just indicates to me, I'm going to get myself in trouble. It indicates to me a lack of understanding of how politics works in America. If you thought that 30-year-old Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, fresh from college, didn't even, if you thought that she was going to go up against the most powerful people the world has ever seen, by herself, you were crazy. And I have always put the blame squarely on the shoulders of Bernard Sanders, because she was ready to rock with him, but he refused to fight. He would not fight. He made it look like there was some sort of virtue in capitulating to Hillary Clinton and Obama and the rest of them people. And so, like, what in the world did people think that she was going to be able to do by herself?
Right.
Like, please. Yeah. You couldn't even stand up to the freaking school bully at school. But you want this girl to stand out there by herself with no support, as if you'd have done something any better. Would you stop?
Right, yeah.
Everybody's a hero in their own mind, including AOC. You could tell. AOC was a giant hero in her own mind. She didn't understand how tough shit is going to get for her. Like, she had no idea. So those are the things that, like, people need to understand about this situation. All right, so now here's the audio, because apparently YouTube's getting crazy, man. Here's the audio of the Kyle Kulinski show. We continue. You'll hear it soon, dear listener. Don't worry. And here we are.
All right, y'all. So let's talk about this thing that just went down with AOC. She wanted to be the head of the oversight committee. And she put that out there, and reporting is that Nancy Pelosi, literally from a hospital bed after getting a hip replacement after a fall she had, she organized the defeat of AOC and got her ideological ally to lead the committee. So here's what they say in Axios. AOC defeated by Connolly in battle for oversight role. Wait until you hear the specifics. This is comical, what you're about to hear. House Democrats on Tuesday elected Representative Jerry Connolly, Democrat from Virginia, as the ranking member of the House Oversight Committee, according to multiple lawmakers familiar with the matter. Connolly, 74 years old, defeated 35-year-old Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, withstanding a generational revolt that saw several of Democrats' septuagenarian committee.
See, this is the other thing. It's like, yeah, Dianne Feinstein literally died in office. She literally died in office. Mm-hmm. Ruth Bader Ginsburg literally died in office. Well, she didn't die in the office, but she died in the office.
Yeah.
And then you have, God bless him, President Joe Biden, who is currently our president, and as such, we got to respect him, right? These are very old people. And like hiring a guy like Biden, President Biden, put them in a situation where Kamala was your contingency plan, who, as we saw, was woefully unpopular and doesn't have any real political talent. I'm sorry.
All right, y'all. So let's talk about this thing that just went down with AOC.
Democracy. You can't shove Kamala down everybody's throats and expect that people aren't going to say, we are worried about that's gotta factor into your math. What you just said is so right. All right, so here we go. We finally got it. All right, so now we got Kyle and his beautiful face. This man went and dyed his hair on purpose. Okay, all right. We continue.
She wanted to be the head of the oversight committee, and she put that out there. And reporting is that Nancy Pelosi, literally from a hospital bed after getting a hip replacement after a fall she had, she organized the defeat of AOC and got her ideological ally to lead the committee. So here's what they say in Axios. AOC defeated by Connolly in battle for oversight role. Wait until you hear the specifics. This is comical, what you're about to hear. House Democrats on Tuesday elected Representative Jerry Connolly, Democrat from Virginia, as the ranking member of the House Oversight Committee, according to multiple lawmakers familiar with the matter. Connolly, 74 years old, defeated 35-year-old Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, withstanding a generational revolt that saw several of Democrats' septuagenarian committee leaders pushed out of their roles. AOC, one of House Democrats' most high-profile members, also lost a vote of the House Democratic Steering and Policy Committee on Monday. So the way that works is, apparently this House...
Is there anybody right now on the Democratic side more popular than AOC? Is there anybody that has a higher name recognition than AOC? Seriously, is there anyone? No, I don't have respect anyone I don't respect but AOC. Right. I'm assuming you're saying you don't have respect for anybody else in the Democratic Party other than AOC, is what I'm assuming Homeboy was saying.
That's what it sounded like.
I mean, that just kind of proves the point, right? Like, she is it. So the Democrats, in my opinion, should be full bore in support of Shorty.
Yeah.
Like, what are y'all doing?
Yep.
We continue.
Democrat Steering and Policy Committee, they do like the preliminary votes on who they want to be the head of the different committees. And they had voted for Connolly, but it was kind of close. But then when it got to the full House, Connolly won by even more. So they say Connolly defeated AOC 131 to 84. He had the backing of several veteran lawmakers, including Pelosi. The role came open after current oversight ranking member Jamie Raskin opted to run for the top Democratic spot on the Judiciary Committee. Connolly hinged his case on experience and his political ability, including arguing that he helped make Virginia a blue state, according to multiple lawmakers who heard his pitch. Now, before I continue, let me say this.
I mean, making Virginia a blue state is a big accomplishment. It's such a blue state now that people were panicking because Trump was within striking distance of Kamala, during the election. I remember, like, people were like, no, there's no way if Virginia falls until it was almost like California or something like that. I'm like, what are y'all doing? It's like I didn't know. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't know this guy, but if he turned Virginia blue, then yeah, I mean, you got to give him his props for that, I guess.
This is one of the most key committees because this is where you can get, grilling of people in MAGA world, right? And now we got a 74-year-old dude who, by the way, is hanging on to life by a thread. More on that later. As opposed to a younger Democrat with a massive following who is so different as a Democrat that, we saw the reaction and the videos of multiple people.
No disrespect, but Matthew Maida is a well, he's the main operator over there at the Facebook page. But Maida is saying that dude has cancer.
Yeah, who was he talking about?
The dude that beat AOC for that spot.
Come on.
Is a 77-year-old with cancer? That can't be. I mean, like I said, Maida doesn't make shit up. So
people who in her district voted both for her for Congress and for Donald Trump for president. Right, that's the kind of crossover appeal she has. She's viewed more as an outsider by a lot of people. And instead of having somebody who's good in front of the cameras, who's better at making arguments, who's photogenic, you got this dinosaur.
Be careful. Crystal will get you, buddy. You don't want to fall out with Crystal. Talking about how photogenic she is. I mean, I guess. I mean, when you live with this girl, there's not a lot of people that look photogenic. I'm not going to lie to you. We continue.
Up there. All right, let me give you more. He's the ranking member in waiting, is how Representative Emmanuel Cleaver, who supported Connolly, summed up the Virginians' case. Oh, my God, that's so sad. Oh, my God, that's so sad. It's all like hierarchy and seniority and order. Like, it's his turn. We got to go with him.
Yeah, he's the ranking guy. That's corporate talk for it's your turn. This is a big thing about corporations and certain governmental organizations, too. It's not like what's the best woman or man for the job in the moment or what's the best tactic. It's, well, we've always done it this way. Shout out to the FBI. We continue.
Oh, no.
It's just certain organizations I could never work for. We continue.
His turn. Gosh. Ocasio-Cortez emphasized her far-reaching public platform, her ability to communicate, and her energetic support for colleagues in recent congressional elections. Lawmaker said. Again, more.
Also, the fact that we would all be surprised if she died tomorrow. Nobody would be surprised if the current president died tomorrow. Nobody would be surprised if Miss Pelosi died tomorrow. We would cry. We'd feel bad about it, but we would not be surprised. If 35-year-old AOC kills over and dies, we would all be surprised. We continue. Died suddenly.
On that in a little bit. Lawmakers who supported Connolly acknowledged that his relative seniority over Ocasio-Cortez played a big role, as did his steering committee victory the day earlier. I mean, guys, the seniority argument, it's your turn argument, this is like what got us Joe Biden. And this is what got us Joe Biden thinking he was the one in 2024.
It's true. It's true. It's true. But Kyle, my brother, you were telling us all to vote for Joe Biden, though.
Did you forget?
I don't understand. This is why I love what Anna's been doing, because Anna's coming out and saying, I said this, I was wrong. Mm-hmm. I did this, I was wrong. Yep. These people, they just keep it moving like they didn't tell us to vote for this dude. Mm-hmm. What in the world? I mean, if you would have voted for, if Trump would have got in office in 2020, you'd be done with him. And then what do you have to show for it, for beating Trump? Oh, at least we protected Roe v. Wade. You didn't protect Roe v. Wade. That happened when Biden was in office. We continue.
The same mindset. It's been 10 years since we resisted a steering committee recommendation, noted Representative Don Bayer, a staunch Connolly ally. I love that. Like, well, it would break with norms and precedent if we said we want AOC. We can't do that. Gosh, golly.
You're in a post-Trump
America. The full caucus voted in 2014 to shrug off steering's recommendations that Representative Anna Eshoo lead the Energy and Commerce Committee and elected Representative Frank Pallone. One issue Ocasio-Cortez had to confront was her past support for primary challengers to incumbent House Democrats, a sore subject for many lawmakers. In other words, hold on now, AOC, you got to Congress. You don't understand. This is like a big country club here. We got each other's backs. we put aside ideological and substantive differences, and we look out for each other here. That's what we do. And you had the nerve to say, hey, I support this Democrat because this Democrat is in favor of Medicare for all and a higher minimum wage and things that I think would actually fix the country. I support them over this dinosaur incumbent who's super corrupt. They said, how dare you do that? How dare you? You're not supposed to buck the system. You're not supposed to buck.
Meanwhile, Trump says, listen, I got these people, and if any of you guys don't go the way I tell you to go, we're going to primary you. That means we're going to make you defend your spot. You're not just going to get to walk in here. We're going to primary you, and whoever I select is going to go along with whatever the hell I say, and you're going to be gone. They just come out and say it. But the Democrats, nah, bro. Nah, we're going to let you. You're going to be trash. You're not going to do anything, but if it's time, we're just going to keep going with the same old thing we're doing, and let's get outflanked and outthought by the Republicans. You guys, look, if you're still on this whole Trump's an idiot, Elon's an idiot thing, I don't know what to tell you. But those are the two most powerful men on the planet Earth right now. So, yeah, I guess you could just be that powerful and be stupid. We continue.
Your own party. You're supposed to fall in line and be a good little girl. This is all out in the open. Like, this is what people were offended by about AOC. Like, oh my God, you didn't get here and powder all of our bottoms and tell us all we're special and circle the wagons and protect us all. But she doesn't agree with all of you. Oh my God. She was pressed on the issue in Monday's Steering and Policy Committee meeting. Dinosaurs, according to one House Democrat who said she pledged not to continue that practice. So, by the way...
Now, when he says dinosaurs, I don't really take that to talk about age. I think he's talking about mindset, because Trump is older than this Connolly guy. Mm-hmm. But Trump had a futuristic mindset about how to engage the political process. Mm-hmm. He's always been a step ahead of everybody, including people like Kyle Kalinske, who were mocking him for going on Joe Rogan, etc. Go back and watch Kalinski's review of Rogan, and you'll see he was mocking and laughing the entire time. And that's the thing that really won him the popular vote. We continue.
She first got in there, yes, she supported some primary challengers in like the next election cycle. But since then, she's actually said, okay, this clearly pissed off a lot of my colleagues. Therefore, I might be able to get less done of what I want to get done. So I guess I got to turn around and support my colleagues, regardless of ideological differences. And AOC thought, well, this is the way to climb the ladder, because this is what they're telling me I need to do to climb the ladder, to get more power, to make more change, right? Then she does the thing they want her to do, and they go, nope, not enough, because there was a time when you supported primary challengers against some of us, and we're going to hold that against you forever. So then why the fuck would she change her actions? Why the fuck would she have stopped doing that? If you're going to spit in her eye regardless, she should have kept trying to primary all you fucking idiots.
That's because, Kyle, you can say that because you're not in her position. It's really, really easy to talk about how easy all this shit is when you're... Look, guys, I don't know if you remember this. In 2008, one of Obama's biggest things was, I'm going to close Guantanamo. He said he's going to close Guantanamo.
Yep.
Then as soon as he came up and they gave him the intel brief, he's like, holy shit, we need to keep these boys here. We still got Guantanamo right now. Mm-hmm. People say things, they mean things. But then when it's actually time to engage, it becomes very, very difficult. Mm-hmm. There's think about Trump and how bullheaded he is and how rich he is and how much of an outsider he is. Look what happened. They tried to kill this man. He was an inch away from death. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Okay? So, some of you guys are zillennials, so you didn't grow up in the 90s with all the, clear and present danger, all them, political movies where it was people were trying to kill the president and his own staff, all the rest of it. I grew up on that, dear listener, so I know. Okay? We continue.
Off all the stats. I raised over $1 million for members. I've paid all my DCCC dues. I was one of the most active surrogates for the Biden and Harris campaigns. Quote, I'm disappointed. I know Jerry will do a great job. This is from AOC. But there's no substitute for having someone in that position that literally has millions of Americans following her on social media, said Representative Becca Ballant Oh, okay, so I was an ally to AOC. I think that the seniority issue in this building gets in the way. Our people back home, they don't care about seniority, Fallon said. No shit. No shit, you don't say.
Do you honestly believe that Pelosi and them shut it down because they thought that the people cared about seniority? They don't care about you guys' opinions. One of the things I have to say about what are we supposed to call it, the Democrat Party instead of the Democratic Party? Mm-hmm. The verb of the noun. One of the things about the Democrat Party that they just don't seem to be aware of is the way they run their primaries takes out the power of the people to make the final decision. So when they were talking about you have to vote for us to save democracy, and then when you look at the polls where the pollsters were like
the exit polls,
35% of people were worried about democracy, and these people were so.
They were happy when they heard that.
They were so much in their echo chamber that they didn't even stop to consider. Maybe we're the threat to democracy, considering we got the little super delegate thing that we did to Bernie in 2016. Yep. We had Hillary Clinton running the DNC from freaking Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. we had Donna Brazile giving Hillary answers over Bernie in the debate. I mean, you guys completely made it so that it was you and Obama basically said, you dirty, unwashed masses, you guys want this Bernie Sanders guy. Hell no. Here's Joe Biden. Here's Hillary Clinton. And then you guys came around and told us that we have to vote for you because you're going to save democracy. Allahu Akbar. We continue.
Both candidates' supporters predicted that AOC would be elevated to a leadership role in the not-so-distant future. Connolly's trademark vigor made colleagues comfortable that he could take on the Trump administration despite his age and recent...
Where have we heard that before? Yeah, he's 70-something and he's sick, but he's vigorous, man. Look at him. Oh, that was Morning Joe saying that Biden was outrunning him on the
treadmill.
The treadmill. He's like, where's he getting all this energy? Blah, 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 blah. He's like, I've been in closed-door meetings with him. You haven't. All you know is your perceptions and a few edited videos. Blah, blah, blah. It's the same story all the time, over and over and over again. God almighty.
Cancer diagnosis.
He's right. He's
Connolly
got cancer.
Said, quote, we're looking at capability.
Jesus.
We're not looking at age. Is somebody capable, irrespective of how old they are, and if they bring energy and enthusiasm? Are you ready for this? You literally can't make this up. Quote, Jerry's a young 74, cancer notwithstanding. You guys are a joke.
What? Somebody really said that.
He's a young 74. Look, cancer ain't nothing to joke about, dog. But he's a young 74, cancer notwithstanding. This is where we're at right now. If I was a Democrat, I don't like all the the jink, like, overblowing shit stuff. I'm not really a fan of that. Mm-hmm. But this is what you have. If you're a Democrat, look, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican, but this is where we're at. It absolutely, cancer notwithstanding.
You guys are pathetic. This is embarrassing, bro. You wonder, like, oh, gosh golly, how do we lose to Donald Trump? I don't understand. This is so crazy. I thought we had this on lock. Jerry's a young 74, cancer notwithstanding.
Jeez, it's over with.
So we get this fucking dinosaur centrist who's never made a good argument in his life, never been compelling, never generated any headlines ever. This is going to be the guy to lead the committee to take on MAGA and be one of the most front and center Democrats for Trump's second term. Are you guys out of your mind? And so why? Why did Pelosi orchestrate this? You guys know. You remember when AOC first got there? You had like Green New Deal protesters in Pelosi's office. And what did AOC do? She went in the office and she joined the protesters. And she gave a speech. And Nancy Pelosi has never let that go.
She never forgave her.
Because to Nancy Pelosi, the biggest sin is actually believing in something and taking on your own party about that thing.
Well, look, bro. If you're gonna speak truth to power, I don't know if I don't know what they expected, and I don't know if it has to do with the fact that as a black person, you grow up hearing about Dr. King, you hear about Malcolm, you hear about Medgar Evers, you hear about all these people, and they all died. The government killed them all. So for us, it's like, if you're really going to go up against the zeitgeist, you need to be ready to die. And AOC goes up against the most powerful woman ever. And what did you expect to happen? What did you think was going to happen? I mean, good night. I mean, look, at the end of the day, like, all of us, okay, are sitting around, and our government is telling us that Mr. Epstein killed himself. I have not met one Homo sapien in this country that actually believes that. All of us believe that the government had something to do with this guy. So, like, he doesn't have any legislative power. He had power to destroy you with a tape here and there, for sure. But even in those situations, those people usually have a trigger mechanism. Like, look, if I die in some weird way, this thing's going to get released of thing. But he...
Yeah.
Okay? And then Mr. Trump, they tried 3-4 times that we know of to kill him. So, like, we're not playing here. This is real. Like, people die. We continue. It's easy for Kyle Kalinske to say that in his nice little warm whatever with his, he married into a lot of money, man. Like, I'm not mad at you. I'm just saying, bro, like, your future's okay. You can come on TV and YouTube and do all this stuff. She can't. It's not the same thing. We continue.
She says, no, we have hierarchy. We have order. We have leadership. What the top says goes, and that's the end of the conversation. Okay, but what if I don't agree with the top? What if when you guys say, we're not going to do Medicare for all, I say, fuck you, I want to do Medicare for all? What if when you guys say, hey, let's drop the increase in the minimum wage from this bill? What if I say, I don't agree, I want to keep it in there? Doesn't matter.
This is not a mystery. And Kyle, if you were in power and you were saying, I want Medicare for all and I have the power to implement it, if some politician came and said, well, I don't want Medicare for all, you would do the same thing. That's how this works. How is this an argument, bro?
You disagree. You fall in line like a good little girl. Don't listen to your constituents. Don't listen to the American people. Don't actually try to fix things. Do what I say. So look, this is, I mean, it's almost like Democrats want to lose, right? You're clinging to your norms and your order and your...
Is his issue that when... It kind of sounds like he's saying she should stand up for what she believes in and stuff. Is that what he's saying?
I mean, I think he's more criticizing the Democrats for their posture and not recognizing she's the only one that can do any sort of real damage. And they're keeping her on the sideline because she's got some personal kerfluffle happening with Pelosi. But to me, it's a lot bigger than just her personal beef with Pelosi. I think they've already made peace about that. The fact of the matter is that they do not want any sort of populism where it's like, this is a people-oriented person. Like, they don't want any of that on their side. That's what happened with Trump, and that's how he overtook the party. Because the Republicans don't have the super delicate thing like the Democrats do. So even though there was a Never Trump campaign, while this man was running, they capitulated to the people. Democrats don't do that. This to me is not about the beef between AOC and Pelosi. This to me is about, we cannot put this girl in a situation where she has major influence, where she can actually do something. Because she's going to go on Twitter, talk about it, she's going to start educating people, and then in 4 years, she's going to be the front runner for president, she's going to be the first female president, she's going to be a person of color, she's going to come with a populist message, and we would rather lose to J.D. Vance than lose to Bernie Sanders or any of his children, which AOC is his firstborn daughter. That is what this is about. Period. End of story. That's all that this is about. They would rather lose to Trump than win with Bernie. They would rather lose to a hyper-capitalist than win with the Democratic Socialist. That's it. Because they know that when that happens, the party is never going to be the same. They're never going to be able to turn back to it. Ever. They know that.
Yep.
That's what this is about.
Oh, okay.
Seniority so hard, and you don't understand. There are no more rules, bro. The rules are dead. The rules are gone. Donald Trump won the presidency again. He had 91 criminal charges, and
He's missing it. It's not that they really care about the rules. It's that they want to maintain their power, Kyle. That's all it is. That's really all it is. There's no extra foo-foo. There's no extra anything. It's literally, that's what it is, bro. We continue.
tried to overturn the last election. Do you think those fuckers give a shit about seniority or hierarchy or rules? No! They broke every rule in the book to get to where they are, and now they have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. Why are you playing by old rules? So look, now this opens up the door to the...
Because they benefit from them. They get rich and they get powerful. And remember, Kyle, another reason they would rather lose to the hyper-capitalist Trump and Elon over and against the Democratic Socialist, Mr. Sanders, is because they're hyper-capitalists. They're all millionaires, bro. They're all multimillionaires. I know you only talk about billionaires now because your girl's a millionaire. But that's all that's happening. They have way more in common with Trump than they do with AOC or Bernie.
broader conversation, right? And this is genuinely an interesting conversation to have. What I would say to AOC is, look, you can be a movement candidate or a machine candidate. You can be a movement politician or a machine politician, but you cannot be both. You can't. You just can't. It doesn't work if you try to have one foot in each world, right? So when AOC got to Congress, guys, there wasn't a question. She came in as a movement candidate. She was a movement politician. It was Justice Democrats that got her in there. It was the people. She was a voice for the people. So she was supposed to harness...
You know who started Justice Democrats? Cenk Uygur,
right, yeah.
which now Cenk is now being excommunicated from the left wing, along with because he's starting to agree with Anna.
Oh,
and people. I mean, the whole grifter thing. I completely disagree with calling Anna Kasparian a grifter. I understand why people would say that about Cenk, because like literally it was like a week before the elections, they got into a jihad about Trump being a fascist. So I understand what people are saying about Cenk, but Anna, you guys are wrong. We continue.
that outsider energy and come to really make change. So with you getting in there as a movement candidate, that means you should have been a movement politician, right? And to be fair to her, she tried it. She supported primaries against her, other people in her party, and she paid a political price for it. But the thing is, her reaction to that was, okay, well, this isn't working to get me friends in Congress, which means I don't think I could get more change done, which means I guess I'll start listening to some of their criticisms, and I guess I'll stop supporting primaries against my colleagues. And so she tried to transition from a movement candidate and a movement politician to a machine candidate and a machine politician. But
I mean, I don't understand people like Kyle. I don't understand how they talk about these things in such a simplistic, you should have just kept going with what you were doing before. Huh? What if they threatened to kill her, Kyle? Like, what are we
How do we know what's going on?
What are we talking about here? Like,
yeah.
And like, look, you don't have to be read into intelligence and things like that to just put shit together, man. How did that kid get up there to take a shot at President Trump? How did that happen, Kyle? How? You trying to tell me? I mean, Trump had requested extra Secret Service detail,
Right.
and the Biden camp said no, and he was an inch away from getting murdered on camera. And that's, what do you think they would do to a Democrat who would hurt them from the inside and then take over the party and hand it over to a guy who's a socialist and barely a millionaire? What's going to happen to them? Because everybody's going to start looking at you going, hey, how are you worth $110 million?
Mm-hmm.
It was never going to work. The source of your power came from being an outsider, came from that giant following you have on social.
Oh my gosh, I love my brother Adar. She could have done what Tulsi did. She's going to have actual power. Bruh. Stop. Tulsi did stick to her guns, and she did stick with the truth. She also linked up with Donald Trump and happened to be there at the historical moment when a weirdo like Donald, and I say weirdo respectfully, I'm talking about a person who is not part of their system. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. But we continue.
Media came from your ability to generate headlines, right? You need to make the other Democrats fear you.
How? She's one person. Did you see? Secondly, look what happens to Democrats when they fear people. They die. What are you talking about? And secondly, look how they treated Bernie Sanders. They feared him. This is like this overly simplistic, childish understanding of how these things work. You need to make them afraid of you. You don't think that AOC's got really intelligent people around her telling her what to do? You think that after all these years in service, she's now going to look at your YouTube channel and go, well, shit, I never even thought about making these people afraid of me. Huh? That got taken from her as she went to work in politics, bruh. And if you were behind that wall, you would do... I guarantee you Kyle Kalinske would be doing a lot less. I've seen Kyle Kalinske when he's in actual conflict, when he's actually had to take a position with people, and he folded. I mean, you guys, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Like, Kyle Kalinske does not do well with any sort of pressure. So, for him to be the one to be telling this girl, oh yeah, just go out there and make them fear you, man. Like, she hasn't been thinking about that already. We continue.
That's what you need. Because when your power becomes so astonishing and overwhelming and you're willing to use it, that's when they say, hey, maybe it's a placater, maybe we give her some sort of a leadership role, right? Because they're afraid of the trouble you can cause if they don't give you a leadership role.
When has that happened? Is that what they did with Bernie? He captured the minds and the hearts of the entire country, and they said, you know what, we got to give this man some power. Or did they come together and crush him? You had Biden, after Obama had all them phone calls. You had Biden saying, I'm the one who beat the socialists, Jack. Y'all remember that? What is this dude talking about?
That was your lane. That was your move, right? Now, by the way, is it possible as a machine politician to make change? Sure, but you have to actually want to make change, right? And you have to come in day one knowing I'm going to play the game, I'm going to climb the ladder, and then when I get to the top, then I'm going to do some good things. I'm going to do some base things.
Bro, you've never been anywhere near the level where AOC was, and all due respect, bro, all due respect, but neither has your girl. Your girl wasn't able to do it neither, bro. So I don't even understand. I don't even understand why our brother feels even qualified to even advise this woman. None of us are qualified to advise her. We're not in the meetings she's been in, bro. It's so strange to me, bro. What is going on?
Right, but she started out as a movement politician, then she became a machine politician, and you're never going to out-machine the other creatures of the machine. They've been creatures of the machine since day one, right? So I think it was a fool's errand to try to switch it up and start listening to leadership and making friends there. I mean...
Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, Kyle. My thing is, look, I'm not going to give AOC any advice as far as how to work the political machinery because... I've never been in the situation that she's in. I don't understand how people who have never been in a situation a person's in, now all of a sudden feel like they can, from the quietness of their little couches or whatever, tell these people who are actually in the arena how to fight the gladiators. You've been in the audience the entire time, bro. What are you talking about? It'd be one thing if Kyle Kalinske was like, yo, you know, I went and did the thing, blah, 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 and I was a one-term guy because, you know, they got me out of there. All right, cool. You didn't even do that. You don't even know what it takes to run for office, dude. Like, what are we talking about here? I cannot stand people that talk on shit that they have no idea about. It's insane. Especially something as complicated as this. I mean, God almighty.
And if you wanted to take that path, it should have been that path from day one. But that wasn't your assignment. Your assignment was, I'm a movement candidate, and I'm going to be a movement politician. And if that means you don't have friends there, it means you don't have friends there.
Yeah, but it's not about, like, people not sitting next to you at the lunch table, bruh. These are people that have literal billions of dollars. Did you see what Elon said? Elon, I just heard something yesterday. Maybe it was a bulwark, people going crazy. But Elon basically said, man, I got infinite money. Any of you guys fuck with somebody, we're just going to go and sue you. And we know, like, a lot of what happens depends on what kind of lawyer you can afford. Believe you me. So it's like, he has no idea what this woman has to deal with day in and day out. These are just really simplistic, easy. The only time I've ever seen a real criticism of AOC land to where I agree to it was the force to vote stuff with Jimmy Dore. That, I was like, okay, you could have done that and still maintained your power. But again, I don't know. I'm saying that as a person on the outside looking in.
But the way for you to get into positions of power is to leverage basically your mob of supporters. Because you're actually a representative of them, and they really like you, and they're willing to do stuff for you and go to the mat for you. You can have your people make phone calls. You can have your people protest politicians who get in the way. You can create 1,000 headlines with your ability to make an argument and piss off the right and trigger the right.
What are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about? She's poor! What are you talking about? Oh, you can have your people piss off and trigger the right. You're gonna piss off and trigger. What are you talking about, Kyle? What world do you live in? What are you talking about?
What he's telling her to have her fans and her followers.
Yeah, he's like your fans will be able to like she's going up against multi-billionaires. And we're not even talking about Democrats at that level. Because if you're a billion, it's just like I say, like when you're at war, you have more affinity for the person you're fighting than the people that you're defending. Okay? So think about this. These billionaires and all the soul-sacrificing things you had to do to become a billionaire, man, when you get to the billionaire level, they're both on the same, like literally both on the same team. So she's not just going up against the Democratic establishment, and she's going up against the world, essentially.
Yeah.
And he's just talking about this like, oh yeah, your social media followers. Your social media followers will intimidate Nancy Pelosi. My God. What are your social media followers going to do for you when they put $10 million in the primary race against you? Right. When it's Joe von Hickelbaum from wherever, we don't know who he is, but all of a sudden, we're seeing a commercial with this man every 30 seconds. What is the poor's on YouTube? That would be us. What are we going to do for AOC against those people, bruh? What the hell? Kyle, I have an idea. Stop giving all this advice to AOC. You do it. You do it, Kyle. Where is he from? Is he in New York? I think he's in New York. Kyle, run for office in 2 years.
Doors open.
Go for it, Kyle. And then you'll be able to do all this. You won't have to tell AOC. And you've got a lot of people on social media. You got 1 million subs. Okay? So, come on, man. Just get it together. Get it together, Kyle. Kalinske 2026. Let's see it. We continue.
A lot of her power is in her ability to trigger the right and get in those fights with the right. That's.
I have no idea what he's talking about. Adar, somebody please tell me how is the right being triggered by AOC? Like when was that? When was the last time that happened?
Weapon. That's a weapon. But I think she sort of she's fearful of controversy, but controversy is one of her biggest weapons, and she doesn't realize it. Right? And so...
She doesn't? She doesn't realize it? She doesn't realize that controversy is her biggest weapon. You know, you could have fooled me. The way that girl manipulates social media, it seems to me that she knows exactly what her weapons are. And you know what that means? It also means she knows what the weapons of her enemies are. Kyle? As they used to say, the enemy gets a vote.
She never should have tried to make that switch to being a machine politician.
Direct us to the video where you told her not to do that, Kyle. Direct us to that video where you were criticizing her for doing that.
And by the way, just so we're clear, it's not even a guarantee that her being a movement politician would have worked, right? That's not even a guarantee. Could have been she had a brick wall at every turn, and trying to leverage the power of her supporters just wasn't enough to get her more power to do more good and make more change for the better. That could have failed too. But one thing I know for sure is you had to pick one or the other. You had to pick one.
I don't agree with Kyle, and he has been spiraled, but he is literally co-founder of Justice Democrats, a political strategy think tank that works directly on campaigns like Sanders. Yeah, brother, I appreciate it, but what does that have to do with him coming on here and acting like this is such a simple way to solve this problem? I'm not very impressed with the fact that he founded Justice Democrats with Cenk, because they haven't been very successful. So I understand that he did that. That's great. I've also been a part of certain kinds of movements, but that doesn't mean, and central in them. Almost went to Supreme. I was looking up an old thing today, and then I saw a thing on Christianity.net or whatever about little old me.
Oh,
it's a little old me.
Truly.
Yours truly. So, like, no, I respect that he did that. He's active, but he's talking about these solutions as if they're simplistic solutions that AOC hasn't been thinking about. Ridiculous. I believe I've said this from day one, and everybody can vouch for me. I believe AOC is highly intelligent. She has to play the Game of Thrones, and she is by herself. She is a woman by herself, literally by herself. Bernie Sanders abandoned ship twice on them. So, like, for Kyle to sit here and talk about this stuff like it's simplistic, like it's easy, like it's obvious, is crazy to me. Crazy talk to me. No. I'm with you. I didn't say that he didn't have experience campaigning. What I said was he literally does not have the experience that AOC has because she's been behind the wall. We're not talking about campaigning. We're talking about winning and then implementing your agenda into the world on the party that you were trying to influence. He has no fucking experience with that because she's the one in that situation. He's never been in that situation. Neither has Crystal. That's what I'm talking about. It's very easy to Monday morning quarterback when you haven't been there, when you haven't been threatened, when you haven't been outmoneyed, when you haven't had a call with Barack Obama and Biden and her, all of them browbeating you and say, we're going to destroy your career and you'll be a joke and then you won't be able to do anything. He's not privy to none of those conversations, and he's talking about this shit like it's a campaign. Exactly. He's talking like a campaigner. We're in phase 3 now. She's not campaigning anymore. And his advice here is ridiculous. It's also insulting. As if he was almost singularly responsible for putting her up there, and now he can condescendingly tell her, your controversy is your greatest weapon, and you don't even know it. What the fuck do you know about it, Kyle? What? We continue.
The other. You know, I mean, there are examples of machine politicians who, like, got into positions of power and then were actually based, right? You can make an argument for, like, LBJ was kind of like that.
Lyndon Baines Johnson? My brother, I promise you I'm not trying to be funny. People don't understand the difference between $1 million and $1 billion. They don't understand. When we say billionaires, Lyndon Baines Johnson, first of all, come close. Lyndon Baines Johnson was a man. He was a man. This is a woman of color. Aren't you the guys that told us that the main reason Kamala lost was because of racism and misogyny? Didn't you tell me that? So why are you going to try to compare this girl to Lyndon Baines Johnson? She's 35 years old, bro. She's out here by herself. What are you talking about? This is what I mean. Mm-hmm. This is what I mean.
Mm-hmm. But you can't have one foot in each world. Your assignment needed to be really clear. And they're just always going to hold it against you that you tried to primary them. They're always going to hold it against you. And trying to, being an outside...
I don't even believe that that's their ultimate issue. I do not believe that it's the personal beef about the primary that's the problem. The problem is they crush Bernie Sanders, and they see her rightly as the inheritor of that mantle, and they do not want to give their party over to populism because they know they'll never get it back, and they know that the constant cash cow that winning on the Democratic side will no longer be as lucrative. That's what's going on. And the fact that you're not calling any of that out makes me even more cringed listening to you when you're coming up with these super simplistic solutions for these problems.
And then basically trying to shoehorn yourself into the Kamala Harris role of I'm going to play by the rules.
And I got to do this. LBJ was 100% to the bone a Dixiecrat. Correct. That's one of them racist Democrats. You know, like Biden. Another racist Democrat that all them white folks was telling me to vote for. Lyndon Baines Johnson was to the bone a Dixiecrat. Describing someone who was part of a powerful political movement like the white supremacist Southern Democrats as an outsider is nuts. Correct. He said he started out as a conventional guy, and then he got based as an outsider. Stop it. How did Mr. Johnson and Mr. King get along? We continue.
And not step on toes. I'm gonna climb that ladder by snuggling up to the right people. It's how far did that get Kamala, right? What happened with her? So
Kamala was not voted to be the vice president. Kamala pieced out. I keep having to tell y'all this. Kamala pieced out prior to her going to California because she was going to lose and get mollywopped in her own state, Kyle, AOC has more political talent in her pinky finger than Kamala does. AOC was chosen by the people. That's why Obama, Pelosi, and the rest of them folks are very sweet on Kamala and do not even look at this girl. That's why. Kyle is a brilliant man, and he knows a lot more about this shit than I do. I have no idea what's happening right now with his analysis of this situation. The people that he's comparing it to, it's not even apples and oranges, it's apples and hand grenades. Completely, categorically not congruent at all in any way, shape, or form. We continue.
I don't know. It's upsetting on multiple fronts.
Here comes Maida. Ranter Matt, subscribe to the channel. LBJ wanted to shut out MLK Jr. on a TV event to deny him exposure. Correct. Also, Google COINTELPRO Johnson King. What is going on? Their usual hatred of populism had Democrats preferring to tell her to drop out than let the spank her in California. Correct. Andrew Yang. The dude came out of nowhere. Shout out to Andrew Yang. But, he was going to kick the... we continue.
I don't want to beat up too much on AOC here, because the bigger problem is that this fucking party is pathetic. Right? It doesn't matter how many times you show them the lesson directly to their face. They're just nope, I don't see it. I don't want to see it.
Shout out to Ryan. Ask yourself why Nancy Pelosi and her husband have been the Yes, Ryan. Yes, Ryan. Ask yourself why Nancy Pelosi and her husband have been the S&P 500 on average of 15% for decades. Corruption. Long story short, they have the inside knowledge on where things are going in the stock market because of obviously where they are in the government. And so this is what I'm saying. Like, she has amassed political, economic, and sociological power for longer than we have been alive.
Yeah.
And now you're taking this girl straight from the restaurant into the halls of power by herself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Insane. And now we're pointing the finger. This is why I could never. I had to dig at her in the song. Okay, I had to dig on homegirl in the song, but I am never gonna be as hard on her as everybody, as Adar and the rest of y'all are on Shorty, because I have done work with the government, and what you see on TV is not the way that shit is. It's just not. And I'm not saying I've been anywhere near where she's been. I've been in, there's some shit that's really black and white and simple, and you would be amazed at how and why certain decisions get made. You'd be amazed. Certain people that we needed to pick up, certain people that needed to be gone.
What does it boil down to? Ego? Like what?
It boils down to power. It boils down to a chess match. It boils down to if this guy detonates this thing at this bus and it's going to cause this and this and this thing to happen. We initiated the Arab Spring for Egypt. It's out there, Egypt, Lebanon, Libya, and, ISIS kind of went crazy with the weaponry. And so Jabhat al-Nusra just sat back there, and you guys can look. You guys could go back. Every time I talked about ISIS, I talked about Jabhat al-Nusra. Every single time. And we got ISIS out of the way, and then we re-upped with Jabhat al-Nusra, and now where is where's Mr. Assad now? He's hanging out with Putin in Russia. Like, people have no idea, like, the way that our government works, the way the calculus, it's insane. And like I said, I've been nowhere near AOC in that side of it.
I don't care, right? Like, it doesn't matter how many times. It's like in the wake of
Okay, so let me get this straight. Kyle. You're saying that AOC should have kept her rebel energy up from day one, and it was wrong for her to compromise. As you're saying that, you are going to pretend like you weren't out here telling us to vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And then you're going to tell us in 2020 that you weren't doing the same thing. So you, from the comfort of your little couch, you, Kyle Ball, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have said that. You, Kyle Kalinske, you were telling us 2 terms in a row to vote for the establishment Democrat. But AOC, by herself, with no support whatsoever, she should have laid the flag down, man, if you don't stop.
Pamela losing, so many idiots were like, well, why don't we just throw immigrants more under the bus and trans people more under the bus? It's like, really? That's your fucking takeaway?
Nobody said, why don't we throw immigrants under the bus? Why don't we throw trans people under the bus? What they said was, it appears that people vote differently than they speak on the internet. Mm-hmm. See, all my trans friends, I used to quote that proverb to them. I'd say, the wounds of a friend can be trusted, but an enemy multiplies kisses. Dear listener, anybody that makes their living off of YouTube knows how to make their living off YouTube. I could have came in here and said a whole bunch of dumb shit about how it's okay for biological males to be in prisons with biological women. I could have told y'all it's okay that a dude is in a changing room with a fucking fully erect penis while a 9-year-old girl is trying. I could have told you guys that was cool. You guys thought you had the upper hand because you had Twitter and Facebook.
Yep.
policing everybody's speech. And you guys put all this social pressure on people to shut the fuck up and not tell y'all what people were really thinking. And what did I constantly tell you guys? I would tell you, I am saying the things that people actually think because I love you and I want you to understand. But if you don't want to listen to me, cool, they're going to fuck you up in the voting booth. That's exactly what happened. Trump spent, I don't know, like 60% of his budget or whatever on the Kamala is for they, them. One quote undid her. Had absolutely had an effect on her. So no, Kyle, it wasn't that people were saying, we're going to throw trans people under the bus. What it was saying was, well, fuck. Apparently, them white ladies really didn't like dudes in their daughters' changing rooms. That's what people are saying. They're not saying let's throw trans people on the bus. And by the way, it does our trans friends no fucking help to say that now the party is talking about throwing them under the bus.
No.
These people have been victimized by their own side. No trans person. They're not telling you that. They're not saying they want you thrown under the bus. What they're saying is that the 2% of freaks in your community that were shaking your asses in front of kids and having fully erect penises in front of little 9-year-old girls. The freaks in your party on your side made it so that regular folks like you, my common sense thinking trans person, they made you look like you were them. And because you didn't have the guts to call them out on your own side, it got expressed in the election, which is exactly what I told you was going to happen. Yep. Now here comes Kyle, hoping to encourage more people to jump off bridges. Kyle, do you actually know what it's like to be part of a marginalized community where you actually feel like the whole world's against you? You know what the job of the adults in my life was when I thought the world was against me because I had depression and this and this and anxiety and this and being black in America? The job of the adults in my life was to say it's not like that, bro. Yes, there's racism. Yes, you have challenges, but the entire world is not against you. Stop being a dick to everybody and people will smile at you. That was the job of the adults in my life. They didn't come and say, yeah, man, if they don't deal with your crazy attitude or whatever, that's because they hate people with depression. They're depression-phobic. Ridiculous.
After Trump wins again, is Kamala didn't go to the center enough as she's gallivanting around the country with Liz?
Help me out here. I like that name, I Blame Gravity. I remember this guy. I think I remember this guy. I've listened to him longer to realize that he knows better. He has been very intentionally dishonest by contextual omission lately, and I don't know why.
Oh.
I feel I've been weirded out by the Rogan stuff, and I feel like he's being deployed by Crystal. I really, truly think it's Crystal. But, I don't want to do the whole blame the woman thing, whatever, but good night.
Like, they just never learn. They never learn. So anyway, it's like this is the Democrats weakening themselves going forward. You have a 74-year-old with esophageal cancer who's never said anything interesting in his life, and he's supposed to lead us in taking on MAGA? He's supposed to lead us. So, yeah.
Look, man, did you see the way Mr. Biden, we should have done a show on that. The way that Mr. Biden hopped, skipped, and jumped. His first talk after Kamala got washed.
Yeah.
Did you see how? I mean, this man, I was like, holy hell! This man got a new
skipping.
He had a new lease on life.
Yeah.
What do you mean, take on MAGA? They are MAGA. Did you hear what Biden said to Trump? Hey, man, it's good to have you back. This man got up on here in this dark Brandon energy. Y'all don't remember that? Alluding to Trump being Hitler, democracy, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. That's how you treat Hitler? Mm-hmm. He never meant it. Mm-hmm. They never meant it because they know he's not Hitler. They're on the same team. What do you mean take on MAGA? Good night.
Although, to be fair, who knows how long will we be able to last in that position, given he's fighting cancer and he's 74.
Oh, no. Oh my God.
I mean,
Ian! Ian! Read that.
I think we can make an exception for Kyle. He can use the women's bathroom. Oh.
Oh my God.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, I did not say that, Kyle. Lord Jesus Christ in heaven, I did not say it. But you posted it. Okay, I repent. I'm sorry. I should have posted it. She said, God, me is a woman.
My God. Okay.
I don't know. Older people with cancer, things seem to not go too well in that scenario. So who knows how long he'll be in there. But
Agree.
It's a real shame. It's a real shame. I feel like AOC should have always stayed that movement politician, and that's a path to power through a different...
I'm sorry, but you're full of it. Blame Gravity was right. You have been strangely dishonest recently, and I mean, it's really been since the election happened is when I saw it more. But I mean, Kyle, bro, like if you thought that, where are the shows where you go after AOC for that? And if you thought that, then why were you telling us that we had to vote for Joe Biden in 2020 and that we had to vote for him in 2024 and whatever empty suit they put up for president in 2028, you're going to be telling us to vote for them. Mm-hmm. So how can you square that with what you said earlier about AOC? So she, who has the actual risk, is supposed to buck the system, but you, a YouTuber with no risk, you're telling us all to vote for the establishment Democrat. I'm not seeing where that connects, bruh.
Mm-hmm. Way, right? It's a path to power through sheer force of will and power in numbers of the people you've galvanized. Because AOC, I got news for you. The 74-year-old with esophageal cancer and all of his idiot colleagues who care about decorum and norms and civility and hierarchy and order, none of them have any of the popular support that...
But they have the money. And they have the institutional power support. Kyle, you cannot be this simple. You can't be.
You do. And you never use that tool. But you should, I guess, is the point. And you should have never left that lane as the movement candidate, because I think she would have went further that way, but... We'll see. Maybe eventually she'll get into a leadership role, and we'll see what she ends up doing with it. But for right now...
Oh, my God. Mac, I'm going to ban you from this channel. Kyle would have told us to vote for Nancy. You know she's right. You know she's right. You would have. Bro. You'd have said Pelosi, 2024. My God.
It's another giant middle finger to AOC and Justice Democrats and anybody who is even...
Pelosi probably did AOC a favor by sculling her leadership bid. She'll live longer. I truly, truly believe that. I truly believe that. I think if Bernie had that vinegar in his veins like Trump, they would have shot him up too. They do not want... Because look, they know... Here's the thing. Here's the difference with Trump, okay, and AOC. Trump is 70-something, whatever. This is his last term. And even if he has aspirations for anything else, I mean, he's not going to be here in 20 years. AOC will be 50 in 20 years. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Put that in perspective. If she was able to get any real institutional power in that party, it would embolden other AOCs. It would embolden other Bernies.
Yep.
And she would be at the head of the party. And she would have a dynamic coalition of people. And the party would never go back to being as hyper-capitalist as it currently is. Mm-hmm. And Nancy Pelosi cannot countenance that kind of future. Neither can Barack Hussein Obama. That is what's going on. And the fact that you went on for 17 minutes, Kyle, and you still are not pointing that out is crazy to me.
Agree you're another of an outsider at any point. They're trying to make it crystal clear to you they don't like you. They don't like you. They don't want you. They actually despise you.
The people you told us to vote for.
And that's why, I'm sorry, but it's true. You need to, on the Democratic side, we really need to see like a Trump-like figure who can come in, run for president, break the mold, and make the party bend to his will.
I don't believe the Democrats need a Trump-like figure. The Democrats need a JFK-like figure. Saying that the Democrats need a Trump-like figure indicates that you believe that the base of the Democrats operates exactly at the psychological level the way that the base of Republicans do, and that is a mistake. Secondly, I don't believe that Republicans have a stranglehold on the future. We saw in 2022 there was supposed to be a red wave, but Mr. Trump was not at the top of that ticket. Mm-hmm. I think the lesson between 2022 and 2024 is Trump is a once-in-a-lifetime political anomaly. He has incredible sway and power when he's playing the game. But when he's not playing the game, you're going to lose. So he only has 4 years left. So this idea that you need another Joe Rogan and another Donald Trump is ridiculous. Both those individuals are once-in-lifetime talents. Mm-hmm. Ridiculous. It's not like it's going to fall off of a coconut tree, sir. No. Why don't you get a JFK type figure? Who inspired people? Ask not what you're, that's the problem. What was JFK's big thing? Yo, we're going to the moon. Let's go. We're going to the moon. Who's taking us to the moon now? Elon Musk. Mm-hmm. It just is, bro. You got nobody inspiring on that side. Mm-hmm. And you're looking around and saying, we need to replicate that. No, you don't. You guys got talent right there, but you guys do not have the intellect. And you guys don't have the numbers. Because your movement was headed up by a dude named Bernard Sanders, and he was too soft. That's really it.
Or her. And that's why I always say, like Jon Stewart. Trump broke the Republican Party. Violated every taboo, stepped on everybody's toes, played the carrot or the stick game, and he was able to mold an entire political party and a country to his will. And on the Democratic side, nobody does that. Nobody tries to do that.
Well, what you're missing also is that Mr. Trump was also able to speak to the grievances that have been created by career politicians like Nancy Pelosi. Mm-hmm. And so he used that bitterness and that grievance to great effect.
Let me play the game and get it and step up the ladder the right way. And it's like, that ain't it, dog. That ain't it. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm.
All right. I'm going to show you guys one last thing. Because I think AOC can become the first female president. But if you want to see why Trump is as successful as he is, here you go. Here's AOC. Damn, you know it's bad when even Trump is feeling bad for me. Really too bad that AOC lost the battle for the leadership seat in the Democrat Party. She should keep trying. Someday she would be successful. 148 retweets, 721 likes, and the first comment under that, Elon Musk. Y'all better be careful. Treating this girl the way you're treating her, be careful. Trump's got 4 years to sweet talk this girl. Say what you want. Mm-hmm. But I'm telling you, I would not be surprised. Because all the anti-Trump shit, he's a misogynist, he's this, he's that, he's stupid, he's dumb. I'm telling you, you get in that man's gravity and he... Okay. I definitely think that that's a possibility. Mm-hmm. The Democrats lost. They lost the workers. Think about this. This was a party of Bruce Springsteen. Born on the 4th of July. You're a working man. You know, I used to hear the Springsteen songs with the Ford and the Built American, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
My mom always told me, well, when you get rich, you're gonna vote Republican. If you're poor, you vote Democrat because they care about the workers. Trump literally snatched the billionaire. Snatched the minds and hearts of working people. You don't think he could do it to a disaffected, underappreciated woman? Can you imagine a J.D. Vance AOC ticket? I mean, good night. Good night. Listen, the Hispanics have already made a big move right. That would be a smart way for the Republicans to capitalize on it. And this man is always thinking, there's a reason this man is a billionaire. There's a reason he's powerful. All this stupid millennial and zennial, anybody that I don't like is dumb. You guys, think. And look, would she have done that 2 years ago? Would she have retweeted Trump 2 years ago? I think it's a bad sign, man. I think it's a bad sign. If you are a Democrat, that's a bad sign.
Yeah, I agree.
Because she's hurt by this situation. And I'm sure there's been hundreds of tweeters or Xers or whatever you want. She found that was not on Twitter. That was on Truth Social. That's Trump's Twitter.
Yeah, okay.
So she went and posted from Trump's page. That's not a good sign.
Yep.
I'm just telling you. It's not a good sign. And look, and I think a lot of us believe this. I would sooner vote AOC as a Republican than as a Democrat. Of course. Of course. Because right now the Democrats are not the party of the people. The Democrats are the party of the elite. You got elite Nancy Pelosi, elite Barack Obama. Our entire country, I truly believe, our entire country is led by two people that we did not elect to be president. We did not elect Mr. Obama to be president in 2020. We did not elect Pelosi to be president in 2020. But all of us now know, I think all of us are on the same page. Those two people have been running the fucking country. I think AOC is threatening to pull a Tulsi. I agree. If you're a Democrat, whoever's at the top of that pile, you better be careful. Because she's signaling. Look, are you going to retweet a fascist Hitlerian figure? This girl took out her pronouns out of her bio, and now she's retweeting Trump and getting likes from Elon Musk? Okay. Okay. If I was a Democrat, man, I would be extremely worried. And if I was a Republican, I'd be like, yo, we're going to dominate this country for the next 50 years, bruh. All right. Now, the drones. and look, I just got to talk about this angle real quick, though. About AOC threatening to pull a Tulsi. Do you know who the number one critic of Tulsi Gabbard was? In this space?
Who?
Anna Kasparian.
Okay.
Anna Kasparian was the number one Tulsi Gabbard critic.
Okay. Why?
Because she's a grifter. She says she's a Democrat, but she's not. Blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
Okay? And now look at Anna Kasparian. Anna Kasparian has been more aggressive to the left than Tulsi ever was. Y'all lost her. You lost her. Because she experienced your crazy fucking ideology in real time. And then she experienced your guys' ridiculous, antisocial, borderline sociopathic response to her trauma.
Exactly.
And now you have AOC, who got shafted And here comes Kyle Kalinske talking about basically saying, I made you, we gave you this assignment, and you're not measuring up, even though I, under no threat whatsoever, told everybody to vote for the establishment politician. You think these people have pled their life and their blood to the Democratic Party? And these people are human beings. They are human beings. And human beings change their minds all the time. And AOC is absolutely vulnerable. She is absolutely vulnerable. Okay. Well, there you go. That last little thing from Trump and Elon. I'm telling you, watch that. Watch it.
I don't even understand. So Pelosi, I understand that she was, she had her hip replacement. From that point, she moved stuff around. What did she do that got it so that way AOC?
It's the same way that you had Gillibrand, you had all these people running, you had Beto, all these people running, and then Obama got on the phone and they all quit the same day, so that Biden could beat Bernie. Similar idea. So she threw her weight around with her leg up from the hospital, called all those people, and they all listened to her because she's a big money and she's a big power broker. So yeah, I'm telling you, if you look,
imagine being a woman in that space and not helping out another woman who clearly is going to have a more difficult time because she's not white. So that would make it more difficult for her, I'm assuming, in that political space.
But she would have won. She would have won. Like, in spite of the fact that she's a person of color, she was going to win it hands down until Pelosi put her finger on the scale.
That's so frustrating.
Yeah.
But that just goes to show you.
AOC is what Pelosi used to be. She used to be a progressive. She pioneered the push for universal health care in the 90s. I think seeing what she used to be in AOC makes her mad. Of course. Of course, because she was before her time. And she's not going to have that as her legacy. Her legacy is going to be a craven capitalist, yada, 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 yada. And AOC is going to be able to take credit for all that stuff, and she can't stand to see that. 100%. 100%. Unbelievable. All right. Can Gavin Newsom save the D? Stop it. You see what AOC did? While Joy Reid and the rest of them people were talking to the voters and saying, you guys are dumb, you're stupid, you don't know anything, you know what AOC did? AOC put out a live and said, listen, if you voted for me and voted for Trump on the same ballot, I want to talk to you, I don't want to judge you, I just want to fucking understand. And out of everybody on that side, she was the only one that said that and did that. That's what I'm talking about. That's just political talent.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Gavin Newsom can't save California. Gavin Newsom lost Anna Kasparian. How can he save the party and he lost Anna Kasparian? It's over with. Over with. All right, guys. We're out of here. Love your neighbor. Take care of each other.
We are the media.
Middle America.
Till next time.
We are the... You just messed up. Love your... Okay. Sorry, guys. I mean, it's substandard. What can I do?